Hello everybody! Before we begin, I would like to let you all know that I have a book out. It is called Not Quite Dead, and it is the story of a woman whose fiancé passed away a year ago, having dreams where he tells her that he's still alive and trying to use said dreams to get him back. It is available on Amazon in both paperback and ebook formats, so if you've ever wanted to support me financially, then this is your opportunity to do so. Link is in the description. Hey gang, it's Squill, and I feel like it's been a hot minute since we've talked early Adventure Time. What with the Betty video and the Islands ranking, this channel has been very later seasons heavy. So before we get to the Elements ranking, let's talk Mortal Folly and Mortal Recoil. Mortal Folly is one of the most important episodes in Adventure Time history. Not only is it the first half of the show's first ever two-parter, but it also serves as our formal introduction to one of the most memorable and iconic villains in the show, the Lich. I mean, technically he briefly appears in his hero, but that barely counts. Gotta say, the Lich makes a pretty fantastic first impression here. His grotesque features and more detailed design just makes him feel so otherworldly compared to any other character in the show. I like that he doesn't talk for most of the episode. He's just so singularly focused on getting to his well. Hell, a majority of the episode just consists of Finn and Jake chasing the guy. But when he finally does speak, well, we'll talk about that later. I always really appreciated the tone of this episode. It feels so much bigger compared to what came before it. I like the line Jake has about this being their first fate of the world deal. It feels like such an important step on Finn and Jake's journey. But it also feels a little quaint at the same time. Like, this is still very much a Season 2 episode in terms of its jokes and writing style. In later seasons, we'll obviously outmatch it in terms of scope. But it's still a pretty big step up in terms of what came before. I like all the references to previous episodes too, like PB's secret room from the Enchiridion making a reappearance, the obstacle course from Business Time reappearing, and Billy's gauntlet obviously referencing Billy and his encounter with the Lich as briefly seen in his hero. Billy is a character who I've always wished was in the show more. Seeing more of his dynamic with Finn and Jake would have made his death feel a lot more impactful. But I at least like that we get an allusion to Billy here. On a side note, this gauntlet appears to be sentient. Like, Finn has to apologize to it in order for it to work, which always makes me feel so bad for it when the Lich destroys the thing. That was a living being. Speaking of Finn's accessories in this episode, I really like this pink sweater that PB gives him. Not only does it look good on him, but I also like that Finn just openly embraces it. It's a nice moment of gender nonconformity. They could have easily made Finn disgusted at the thought of wearing something feminine, and I'm glad they don't go that route. It's also just a nice symbol of Finn and PB's friendship. You can really hear the sentiment in PB's voice as she gives the sweater to Finn. It's very sweet. I wish he wore it more in other episodes. It's a shame it only reappears in Thank You. I also like that this is the first time the waving snail actually does something to contribute to the plot of an episode. It's a nice bit of payoff for anyone who noticed this background gag in previous episodes. And it's just another aspect that helps this episode stand out when compared to what came before it. I think Ice King's role in this episode is a little underrated. He's obviously got some good comedic bits here. Love that shot of PB's name written all over his legs. And the general idea of him wanting to get Finn and Jake's blessing to marry PB is really funny. But I also think his role in this episode works really well as a passing of the torch. Like, obviously there are episodes after this one where Ice King is the antagonist, but he's no longer treated like a serious threat after this point. Which makes sense, because that's not really something you can do after introducing the Lich. I like that Finn and Jake sort of just view Ice King as an annoying nuisance. A minor threat getting in the way of what's really important. But speaking of the Lich, let's get back to him. His Wall of Power is an awesome set piece for the climax of this episode. Great atmosphere here, especially near the beginning with the big green explosion. This climax as a whole is absolutely superb. We get our first Lich speech here, and while it's rather short and simple compared to later ones, it's still very effective. Love the way they draw Finn here. I really like how they play this power of love moment. They do a good job lampshading it, calling it the power of liking someone a lot, but they do so in a way that still makes it feel sincere. Because again, the sweater is a symbol of Finn and PB's relationship. Plus, knowing PB, she probably imbued the sweater with something to help protect Finn, so it doesn't feel like too much of an ass pull. And it leads to what is, to this day, one of the rawest moments in all of Adventure Time. The way Finn pulls the sweater through the Lich's eye sockets goes so crazy. Excellent storyboarding here, the way Finn is backed up against the ceiling before tearing the Lich apart. YouTube's actually released a figure based around this scene not too long ago, and while I don't have it yet, I absolutely want it. Just a perfect moment to base a figure on. Gotta say, I wasn't watching Adventure Time by the time this episode aired, but this cliffhanger is insane. I mean, I know Mortal Recoil aired right after this, but those 5 minutes in between commercial breaks must have been brutal. Needless to say, a very effective cliffhanger. Mortal Folly is a game-changing episode of Adventure Time. Not just for introducing the Lich, but for being the first episode to really feel grand in scale. It helped pave the way for the larger sense of scope and storytelling that would come in later seasons. And on top of all of that, it's just a fantastic 11 minutes of Adventure Time. Far and away my favorite of the first 2 seasons. But please let me know what your thoughts are on this episode in the comments, and join me next week when we discuss its follow-up episode, Mortal Recoil. Have a good one, and Squill out.